1 week from this evening, we're going to experience Tisha B'Av once again. Halavai Mashiach should come before then, and it should be indeed a moed, a day of celebration. But we'll sit low if he doesn't come, and we will recite one of the most hurtful and painful psukim that I've ever come across. I know that each and every time we get up to it, and I hear the words of Yirmiyahu, Gam ki ezak v'ashaveya sasam tfilasi, where Yirmiyahu says to Kadosh Baruch Hu, notwithstanding all of the tefillos, all of the crying out that I engage in, sasam tfilasi, it's as if all of my tefillos, all of my prayers have been shut down. Says Rashi, the chalonos, the windows through which the prayers typically ascend to the kisei hakavod of the Ribono Shel Olam, they don't even penetrate. It's an impenetrable wall that is placed by Kadosh Baruch Hu. And it's so deflating and it's so crushing in nature. And how many times do we turn to the Ribono Shel Olam and Shema Kaleinu and Shemona Esrei? Or how many women stand and bench licht on a weekly basis and they ask Ribono Shel Olam for things that don't ever seem to be granted? And we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we say to him effectively, we know we don't deserve it, but please, Ribono Shel Olam, don't continue ignoring my tefillos. Don't continue acting as if I haven't even uttered anything to you. And indeed, in this week's Sedra of Devarim, we read clearly how Moshe Rabbeinu informs Klal Yisrael that after the Chet of the Meraglim, and they had returned and informed Klal Yisrael that they would never ever realistically be able to go up into the land of Canaan and capture it and have it delivered into their hands as promised by Kadosh Baruch Hu, except in Kaleb ben Yefune and Yehoshua. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, fine, none of you are going in. None of you except those two are going to go in. But your children will go in. And the immediate reaction of part of Klal Yisrael was to say, no. We feel bad that we bought into the reports of the other 10 spies. And we're ready. We're ready to go in. We're ready to go in now. We're ready to fight. And they girded themselves for war. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu warned them through Moshe Rabbeinu, informing them that he would not be in their midst and they should not do it. They went anyway. And indeed, the Amorim, the Canaanim, and the Amalekim descended from that mountain and they smote Klal Yisrael. And says Moshe Rabbeinu, following that incident, Vatashuvu vatifku l'fnei Adonai, you returned and you cried before HaKadosh Baruch Hu for your losses. But God did not hear your voice. And he didn't pay you the time of day, give you the time of day. He didn't bend an ear to you. Says in the Tziv, that's how they felt, but it wasn't quite true. Because the very next pasuk informs us, Vateshu b'kodesh yomim rabim, kayomim asher yishavtem. And Moshe tells them that they, following that incident, they encamped in Kodesh for 19 years, which was equal to all the encampments of the other 19 years of meandering in the desert that was foisted upon them. So says the Netziv, this pasuk immediately is placed after the fact that they came back following this war that they had lost, and they cried, and they felt that they were not listened to whatsoever by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Netziv, even though God did not hear your tefillah, so you should be granted entry into the land of Israel, and the edict of God should be reversed. But the tefillos did not go unanswered. Because you had an encampment of peace and serenity for 19 years in Kadesh, following those tearful tefillos that ascended towards the throne of the Almighty. Because the Musar v'hadracha Yisrael, and all of this is so important, says the Netziv, for us to understand as the generations go forward, that we should never say to ourselves, what's the use of davening? Ribono Shel Olam doesn't want to hear our tefillos. He doesn't even permit them to rise to the kisei hakavod. Sasam tefilasi. No. And never think that even though HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not responding to us in kind, granting us in exact form and measure what we are davening for, never think that mikol makom, never think whatsoever that it has no efficacy and it has no purpose. Because mikol makom to'ol harbe. Because in truth, you may not receive exactly what you're asking for, or when you're asking for it, or how you're asking for it. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu never shuts us down. And he's always listening. And he's always responsive to our tefillos. Just not necessarily in the way that we feel we need them. So if Mashiach doesn't come before next Wednesday night, and we find ourselves sitting as Avelim once again, reciting Eichon, reciting the Kinos, Gam ki ezak va'ashavea sosam tfilosi, and we feel ourselves during this pandemic that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for whatever reason, we know the reason, because we haven't done tshuva sufficiently. But we should not believe or think to ourselves one moment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not listening to our prayers, and that, God forbid, he doesn't care. But rather, things need to play out in the way that he wants them to. But he hearkens to our tefillos, and he listens to our tefillos, and he always grants us things due to those tefillos. And no woman who was ever benching licht, thinking to herself that no matter how much she cries, and how much she offers Hashem Yisparach tefillos from the wellspring of her heart, that he's not paying attention. God hears, he listens, he cares for us. And in Mirza Hashem, we should all be zochen to that Geula and Yeshua that we so desperately need. Have a good Shabbos.